Hello again, and welcome back to Project Ozone, and welcome back to Asgard. So, since last episode, I have been doing a lot of... I finished out the windmill array. You can see over there, and I'll show you that in just a second. But I have primarily focused on building and getting a few things together for this episode and everything, but mostly building. I'll go ahead and tell you. Because I felt like it had been a while since I really spent a bit of time just working on the building, you know, and kind of building that up. So I did spend the majority of the time on that. You'll probably notice immediately that first off, I changed that windmill over. I think I like that one a bit more just because it runs a little bit faster. That other one from Galacticraft, I didn't care much for it because it would shut off like very, very often. Like it would stop. I guess there was no wind or whatever. And whenever I went to build this bridge here, I was building it, and it seemed like the Galacticraft one was kicking off a lot, so I have a feeling that it wouldn't spin with stuff in front of it. Keep in mind that, I mean, this may not be producing the best power with this bridge here in front of it, but we're not really using this for power either. So I just want something that kind of spins right there and everything. But yeah, so I built this little bridging area to basically span this gap and kind of give you a way to get a good vantage point over this, because I think it makes a nice view, but I don't want to have to look at it from an angle, right? It's not as good there. And then also I kind of did a little bit of detail work on the bottom here and some supports and things like that to make it look, I guess, realistic. I'm not a bridge builder, but like in real life or anything, but I think it looks good. Over here, the windmill array, you'll notice this one is built out. It's producing a fair amount of power, and I think it looks much better now. You can kind of step out into this section and walk around. I mean, there's not a whole lot of walking area, but it's really just, you know, the main focus is getting those windmills in place. In here, I haven't changed over, I haven't finished this. This is just something I've been working on. But I did go through the second floor. I haven't done the bottom floor, but I did go through and build out the ceiling and stuff. I think I like it quite a bit. It's kind of like a play on the one that we did in the hallways. That's kind of how I want it to be in this back section. So, you know, these hallways kind of have this type ceiling going on, and I kind of wanted to play on that for the upstairs area. I am finally getting to the back, you know, since I finished out the crops, and for the most part, minus, I need to do a bit of work with actual, like, little detail features and stuff of the base, but for the most part, the back section is getting squared away. So I do want to start working on the back part of this building, of the compound, you know. Up here, I'm sure you noticed that there is a roof that's starting to form on this. I was playing around with a few different roofing ideas and how I wanted to do it, and I think what I'm going to do is, it's going to take a little bit, but I'm going to actually have the roof come around and connect onto the front part of the compound. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this, because I still want it to feel open. I'll probably do something more like this, except have an actual roof and some different stuff above it. And I'm debating if I want to do like a low top that starts here and the roof just right above us, or if I want to do like a really nice decorative high top roof here. You know, that's really, really open and has like the high roof and a lot of detail work through that. I'll probably do the high roof, but I don't know for sure. We'll see. And then up here, I just kind of changed out the windows and cut those in and everything. And I think right now it kind of looks a little bit like a barn. It won't, I don't think, long term, but once I get the roof kind of ran around and everything. And also the roof, I'm thinking about, like right now I have all black, I can't remember what this tank, I think, is this block. But anyways, I think I'm going to pull a lot of this up, and I'm going to do a framed roof. I tend to like those more. So basically with that, what we're going to do is we're going to have just the black border that kind of runs down through here, like this block, that runs along the bottom. And it'll also run up on the corners and stuff, but then in the middle, and it'll run across the top, but the middle will be like a different color. Maybe like a lighter gray or something like that. Hopefully by next episode the roof will be a little bit more squared away so I can show you what I mean, but I think that's what I want to do. So I'm trying to work on actually finishing the architectural aspect of the compound. So, and I haven't started on the wind generators on the other side. These actually take for that many, it takes quite a decent amount of time. Not terrible, but I do have to sit there and change over the batteries, which is, it's kind of a pain. But anyways, oh, also I changed over the Gaia Guardian to Terra Steel, just because I thought it was a little bit more exorbitant than Mana Steel. So I was like, why not? We have tons of Terra Steel. In here, this ceiling is not done. This is just, whenever I do like a ceiling, I generally, as long as I have the materials to do so, I'll plot it out with like a base coat color, and then I'll go through and add detail and stuff like that. So you can see I started adding some tank, and then under here there's crypt, just to kind of give like a circular effect on these pillars. But I still got a lot to do here. Also, these windows I did change. Remember, I had that big open cut window, but it didn't really fit like the grain style of the rest of the windows. So I went ahead and just cut it out and added these high windows here. And I do quite like them because when you walk in, I mean, I think it looks good. You know, I like the big glass window effect. And then out here, there's windows, and this is also covered. I'll probably end up doing some detail work up there, but I'm not for sure what I want to do up there just yet. And then next up and finally we have upstairs. I did spend a lot of time up here. Not that. Not that. But over here in this section. Over here, this is, and I know FPS is dropping. By the way, I had to remove better FPS. But basically, better FPS was causing like really bad tick crashes for me. So it would kick off all of a sudden, just randomly, and then whenever I go to log in, ticking something too much. So I went ahead and pulled that. So just a heads up on that. I've got to try to get Optifine put in. I know there was a comment regarding that about removing Fastcraft and then adding Optifine, and it should work. So I'm going to give that a shot. So yeah, I do apologize. I'm still working on it. But in here, basically this is our teleporter section. So I've actually got areas already cut away for all the different teleports, because once we get into Galacticraft, if you include the space station, there's going to be 13 different planets and places that we need to be able to teleport to. So I included areas for all 13 of those teleports, and then I also included the nether portal. Over here is going to be the dimensional, the aroma dimensional whatever, yeah, dimensional portal frame. We're going to build one of those just to do it. And then back here, this will be more mechanism teleporters all along the walls here. This is going to be our ender portal to the end. More teleports along this wall for space. And then over here we have Aether, we have Erebus, and then over here, these two little cutouts right here are going to be Last Millennium and the Deep Dark. I may do a little bit more accent work, but I don't know. I think I'm fairly happy with this room, and I like the contrast quite a bit. This is Z-tile on the bottom, and then reds there, and then layer. I've got layer down, and basically it's going to be behind the portal, so it kind of gives almost like a black effect. But then I can also use it here, and I think it looks alright. So, and then in the front here, I've started shaping this up a little bit. You can see I've got these like round tower type effects going on. I don't know what I'll end up putting in those, if anything, but they're more just for visual effect, because up here, you know, we had that like slant right there, and I wanted to kind of make it, once we got to the top here where it opened up, I kind of wanted to have like a rounded effect that kind of comes up almost like towers. So, but yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Lots of building, lots of building, because the base is still very much like a work in progress. But I wanted to get at least a bit of this squared away before we start going into space, because of course once we hit space, we're going to be building a lot as well. You know, the different little stations and substations and all that stuff. Like, it's going to be a bit of fun, though. It's going to be quite a bit of fun. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into what we're going to be doing today. And we are going to be just jumping right into Galacticraft and getting on with that, and kind of working our way towards the rocket and getting things prepped to get into a little bit of space travel and all that fun stuff. So the first thing that we are going to need is the circuit fabricator. Of course, this being very, very important. I was thinking there's only a few Galacticraft machines, especially like 2 of them that come to mind immediately that we're going to want to automate. So we will automate those. I'm not 100% sure. I'll go ahead and admit I'm not 100% sure where I want to place those. So we'll see once we get those and everything. We'll see what we want to do. You know, I debated about maybe putting them in here, just kind of tapping them into the little bit of mechanism. But I don't know. Because I think mechanism will have plenty of room. I mean, that's a big machining area. But for this, we're going to need Enderium. We're going to need machine housings from Magneticraft. Let's go ahead and order one of those, actually. And I'll tell you what, before we even get started with this, I'm going to go ahead and break my wireless charger, because it causes a lot of issues when I have to handle those batteries and those tablets and all that stuff. And then vibrant crystals. Well, there's those. Those really aren't that hard to craft. Circuit, let's see. We're also going to need 2 of those energy tablets. I hate these things. I mean, I need to just change the batteries over, but at the same time, like, I know that in the not-so-distant future, all the crafting is going to get overhauled, so I'm just like, ugh, I don't even feel like it. I know it's terrible of me, but I'm being a tad bit lazy. So there's our 2 energy tablets. Now that's the majority of the stuff that we need. Now we just need the last couple things, or the last thing, I think, which is that silicon boule, right? So, let's see, we're going to need electrosilicon compound. That's silicon, and silicon is crafted using silicon boule. Sandy coal compound. There we go. So let's go ahead and order ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and start with like 10 of these things, right? Because I know when I was looking at the Galacticraft stuff, it's something that we're going to need a bit of. Go ahead, there's some silicon boules to get us started. And I'm going to need a saw. Does it have to be diamond? I noticed it was a diamond saw. Yes, it appears it has to be a diamond saw. So let me get... Oh, I have one in here. Okay. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even realize I had one in here. And then what we need to do is we just need to cut this boule down. So there's 24 silicon. It actually goes pretty far, so. And then we are going to need the electrotine silicon compound. So just like that. I guess we'll go ahead and just make 1 to start with, I guess. I don't know for sure how many of these we're going to need. If we start seeing it crop up a bit more, I may go ahead and make a few more just so we've got them on hand. But I noticed when I was looking through the Galacticraft stuff, there is a lot of different kinds of... I believe it was different kinds. It may have been the same stuff. It could even have been just standard... what was that? Could have even been just standard silicon. I'm not for sure. But I need 2 of those. What am I thinking? Okay, I tell you what. I'm going to get... If I can learn how to type here. I'm just going to grab like a stack of electrotine, and I'm just going to have that on me, okay? Just makes life a little bit easier, right? You know what? We're just going to go ahead and make 8 of those and be done with it. We still have 15 silicon and more boules. We're good on those, so might as well. Actually, I know these silicon boules aren't used for anything except for making silicon, so we'll just go ahead and turn that over to silicon. But yeah, see, there's like a red silicon compound, glowing silicon, and then electrotine. So I believe we're going to need a few of each of these, if I recall correctly. But I don't know. I'm just going to hold on to silicon for right now. It only takes that thing a second to smelt, so not really a big issue. Okay, so we've got everything now to get our circuit fabricator. We'll go ahead and snag that for Galacticraft help. Blah, 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 blah. Alright. Okay, now the question arises, where do we want to place this circuit fabricator so that we can automate it? Honestly, I'm leaning towards the mechanism room, because, like, I could easily put this, like, right over here. I mean, honestly, I don't think mechanism's going to need this entire room. But for right now, at least, I'm going to set it up here, okay? And then I may move it if I find that mechanism needs a little bit more space. I can always move it and put it somewhere else. It's not a big issue. So what we're going to do is we are going to set the circuit fabricator down. We'll put it, so we're going to put it like right here, I think. Yeah. And I'm going to need to go ahead and remove this and this, as well as this and this. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to want is a hopper. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and just get 2 of them because I know I'm going to need them. I imagine probably the next quest we've got here is the compressor. Where's the electric compressor? Right there. Okay. Okay, and we're going to need the compressor to make the electric. Okay. Alright, that works. So, let's get our hopper. And I'm also going to want some pipes. So now we should be all set. And, so I'm going to put the... Let me put this here so I can make sure these face forward. We're going to put the circuit fabricator on the bottom here. And what we're going to do is let's... That's the GUI, by the way. You put items here. You put, it's generally like silicon or whatever here. Then you put like a redstone, and there's different items you have to put in there. Basically, if we take a look, I know one major thing that you're going to craft with this is your wafers. So, for example, like carbon wafers, they require carbon ingots here. They require silicon here, redstone, and then you put like a redstone comparator there, and then item comes out. Red gem wafers take red gems, silicon, redstone, and redstone repeaters. So let's instead get a supplier module. Now I know when it comes to the compressor, chances are we're probably going to need the, this is another recipe I need to change. There's a bunch. Like, I try to be careful when I set these up. You can see all these loose items. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, none of these are crafting anything. Like stuff getting caught in here and stuff. Not that eggplant in particular, because that'll get requested from the system, but yeah, this is another one of those. Drives me insane. Absolutely insane. That's why, I don't know. I'm still torn how I'm going to end up doing auto crafting and stuff. It's just... I know I'm going to have to make the move to AE2. Just figuring out how I want to implement that. But I will say that once we get to the compressor, we are going to have to set this up a little bit differently. Because I know that this one won't work in this fashion. But we're going to put our logistics chassis Mark V right there. That is an unrounded pipe. Okay. That is going to have to become a basic pipe. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just put this active supplier module in here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bottom slot so I can have my recipes up here. And we're going to go ahead and say, I want you to keep, we'll say partial and keep 2 stacks of silicon and 1 stack of redstone within this circuit fabricator. So the stuff should be ordered right now. It should be coming in. There's 64 redstone, and then silicon had to go from a little bit further because it's at our cobble gem. And there's our silicon. So you can use the Ender IO silicon for this. Now the only thing I can think of for power right now is to maybe use a battery. I mean, these from Redstonic hold 25 million. That would do fine for us. But I will say that a 25 million battery will actually run for quite a bit. Well, minus the fact that it does drain that. Yeah, still can't plug up power to this. I don't know. Anyways, we finished this circuit fabricator quest. We'll go ahead and turn that in real quick and get our basic reward bag. Look out. We got a Cooking for Blockheads book. Alright, so the next thing they want us to do is they probably want us to make the compressor. They do. This requires steel plates, machine housing, dark steel. That's actually very, very easy to make. So we'll pop on over here. And we're about to get our compressor made, which is exciting, I think. Even though, honestly, we're probably not going to use the standard compressor. We're probably going to go ahead and straight up change it over to the electric one. I'm wondering if that's going to require a battery too. But anyways, there's our compressor. We'll go ahead and get our reward bag, and then they want us to make the electric compressor, just an upgraded version. It is going to require a titanium wafer, another dark steel anvil, great flex battery, advanced wafer. Okay, so the dark steel anvil, we'll go ahead and order the stuff to make one of those. There's that. Okay, now we need 2 different wafers, right? We need the titanium wafer, which requires titanium ingots, and then redstone torch, and then the advanced wafer, which requires a diamond and a redstone repeater. Alright, so redstone torch, we've got that automated. So I'm going to go ahead and order one of these. We're going to make recipes for that. And then the diamond is not a problem. Titanium shouldn't be a problem. I am going to have to teach you how to make a repeater, but that's not really a big issue. That was what the titanium weight, no, the Advanced wafer. Okay. And there's our redstone repeater recipe. Okay, so now we have everything that we need to automate those wafers. So we'll just pop on over here, and we are going to say that this machine chassis, if you... Where did my diamond and stuff? I must have not gotten them. Okay, one second. I love that, like, steady draw off the battery. It makes it fun! Alright, so if you send it a diamond and a redstone torch, you're going to get something. And then also if you send it a repeater and a titanium ingot, you're going to get something, right? Okay, so if we throw in diamond and redstone torch, it's going to start running. And there we go. It makes 3 basic wafers. And then if we give it a repeater and a titanium ingot, right? Oh, it's titanium with the redstone makes the titanium wafer. Whoops, I just taught it how to make a basic wafer. That's okay. I'm going to need those anyway. Okay, so we'll set up another recipe here, and we'll say that if you give it a diamond and a redstone torch, then you're going to get 3 basic wafers. Okay, so those are done. And then the redstone repeater with the diamond. Actually, before I do that, I need to change up these recipes because they are wrong. They're very, very wrong. Okay, diamond with the repeater. Titanium with the torch. Okay, so diamond with the repeater. That's going to get us the, what, advanced wafer? I think it just makes 1 of those. So there's the advanced wafer. We'll go ahead and slot that to make sure it's already set. So there's 1 of those. And then titanium. It will not automatically accept the titanium. It's very, very strange. Maybe I can't shift click it in there anyway. I'm hoping that the supplier module can put it in there. Alright, and there's 3 titanium wafers. So we'll put those in there. Right there. And that should be done. We should be able to request wafers. So right now, if I go ahead and I requested... I'm going to go ahead and request some advanced wafers because I know that we're going to need those anyway. We'll say, send me 10 advanced wafers. Now, hopefully, everything comes in here automatically. And there's the redstone repeaters. Okay, so that worked. I thought I saw items bouncing up. Like out of here. But it wasn't, I guess. And that one gets crafted now. There's our advanced wafer, and if we give it just a second, it should come into the ender pouch here. Okay, there it is. Golden. Awesome. Wonderful. I love it. Okay, so that's done. I mean, that's running. But anyways, we have our dark steel anvil, our electrotine. I think we have everything now to get our electric compressor. Minus that battery. So there's our batteries. Drop that one in there. There is our electric compressor. Alright, and we've completed that quest. Now we'll go ahead and get our reward bag. And I guess we've got a good and a greater. Let's go ahead and pop these. We got Basal's Rod, Blitz Rod, Blizz Rods. Not really something that we need. And then the greater bag, we got a sponge. Okay. As exciting as that is, we're going to move on. Alright, so the electric compressor, now's when things get fun. What are the next quests they want us to do? The refinery and the detector. Okay, well first up, let's go ahead and set up our electric compressor. And then we'll just kind of automate it as we need it, you know. So if I put the electric compressor down, I am going to have to kind of rearrange some of this, I think. If I want the hoppers to come in through the back, which I do in fact. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a chassis pipe. The Mark V chassis that corresponds to this compressor. I'm going to put it on the bottom, in fact. We are going to then, let's see, unrouted transport pipe. This pipe is going to come down, connect to that chassis pipe, and then that's going to just come down along, hit this Mark IV. And actually that means I can remove this, replace it with an unrouted. Okay, that's fine. Because basically I don't really want the chassis pipe to be on the back. Because what I want is I want a hopper on the back, actually. And then on the bottom here I want a satellite. Okay. And that's pretty much all we need to automate this, I think. So, let's take a quick look here. What do they want us to make first? It is, I guess we'll go for the refinery first. That's for making oil and stuff. Or for making fuel. So for this, they want us to get machine housings from Galacticraft. We already know how to craft those. We're also going to need diamond wafers, which are diamonds and redstone lamps. And then we're going to need compressed steel, which is 2 steel. Okay, this is the perfect time to automate the compressor. Let me go ahead and get... I am going to have to teach it how to make those redstone lamps. There's how to make a redstone lamp. And then let's just get ourselves just a couple pieces of steel. There's that. And I'll show you how we're going to automate this this compressor. First step, we're going to go ahead and just throw this in here. We're going to say that if you input a diamond and a redstone lamp, and we'll get that running. I can't shift click the redstone lamp in there. That's fine. And then we're going to pop over here. Let's grab our battery for the compressor, right? Which is charged. Depending on if I find a way to charge these. Like if there's a cable that connects and I've just missed it. You know, I'm kind of holding out on that, but if we don't find one, we'll just set up a quick way to just move batteries automatically. It's not really an issue. So there's 3 diamond wafers. And now it knows how to make those. And I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and request another batch of those diamond wafers because we're going to need 4 to craft the refinery, right? Alright, so for the electric compressor, first thing I want to do is I want to set our satellite. So it's going to be satellite ID 14. Oops. Oh my gosh, apparently these logistics chassis won't work on the bottom. To input anyway. I don't know about output because this one inputs from the back through the hopper. Ugh. Okay, funny story. I'm actually having a bit of a dark moment. I forgot these actually have this thing that accepts power, right? So what we're going to do is we'll just flip-flop that one. This one's got it. I'm going to put it on the back, though. I know it's going to rotate the machine. You're not going to be able to see the fronts, but there's really nothing I can do. I don't think that there is a way to... No. There's no way to, like, change where the thing is. I totally forgot about those, honestly. I think the last time I was using Galacticraft, I was using Draconic Evolution, you know, to power it. So with that, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I can wirelessly plug the power up in anywhere, and you know, from it can face any direction, right? It's one thing I hate is the I hate forced cable sides. I hate it so much. Okay, for the power, I'm just going to honestly, I think I'm just going to bring it right down through there like that. Okay, so these should have power now, even without the batteries, which they do. So really I don't need these batteries in here. And then I'm going to set my chassis, I guess, on this side. Hopefully it'll accept from this side. So hopefully we'll see stuff come in just a second. It does. Okay, wonderful. So now I should be able to request my diamond wafers. Diamond wafers are crafting, that's fine. I wish you could see the front of the machine, but I can live without it for it to auto-craft. And might as well pull these batteries out of here since we don't actually need them in there. I do apologize about that derp. I totally forgot about that. Totally forgot about it. Okay, so the electric compressor. Now we need to set up a recipe for it. This was satellite number 14. So we're going to throw in a crafting module. We'll say, if you take 2 steel, send it to the satellite on satellite 14. And if I put it into this hopper, you'll see what happens. Or is it not? Okay, the hopper actually has to be on the top. So, I mean, I guess there's nothing I can do about it. We're gonna have to have a hopper on top of that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and order... Okay, yeah. See, that's the issue. If you just plug up the machine chassis, that's why I'm using the hopper. I was making sure that I had to use the hopper. I thought I did, but if you do just the hopper, just the logistics chassis, then it just dumps all the steel into there like that. Okay, so that's why we have to use the hopper. Anyways, we'll go ahead and just plug this satellite up. Put it right there. Satellite number 14. We'll change this recipe over. Drop that in there. And honestly, that should be good, right? So now if I was to request, say 10 compressed steel, we should see the steel coming in. There it goes. Goes right into here, and you'll notice the hopper drops it in separate slots. Because the hopper drops its items one at a time, the logistics pipes just dump it all, which is an issue. You have to do the same thing with AE, so it's not really anything new. Anyways, that's running, and it's working, So if I take a look here, I'm getting compressed steel and all that. So beautiful, beautiful. Anyways, I got a little sidetracked automating those. What we were actually after is the refinery, right? So let me get. Oh, machine housing. Did I not order that already? Machine housing. Okay, so machine housing, diamond wafers, and then the compressed steel. Other way around. And that gets us the refinery. Takes oil and energy and outputs fuel used for rockets and vehicles. Okay. So I don't believe that we currently have any fuel over here, right? I don't think we have Galacticraft fuel. I don't know, we've got this fuel right here. I don't know if that's the fuel that I need, though. But I will show you an easy way that we can check. Let's get a bucket. And let's get this battery. Go ahead and grab that. So if I set up the refinery here with a battery, and I was to grab a thing of this oil, dump it in there. Okay, it's refining right now. It's turning that oil into fuel. Alright. So we'll give it just a second. It is 1 for 1. Fuel is really not hard to make, even if you don't have a cow or something like that. But I'm just curious, if this is fuel, then I'm not even going to bother with the refinery. It's not something that we're going to need. I do believe we have a reward bag. Yes. We'll go ahead and take that. It's a good bag, and we got a quantum entropy accelerator. That's one of those things that we got a couple of them like forever ago, and they give like 4 RF per tick, and you can just pump cobblestone into it. Okay, that's actually going to take a while. That's very, very slow. But if it's not the right kind of fuel, then I'll just set up a system to pump oil in there and create fuel indefinitely, basically. So anyways, moving on. They want us to make glowstone torches, 64 of those. That's fine. Let's just get sticks. I'm going to need 16 of those. And 16 glowstone. Craft it together and you get glowstone torches. There we go. Reward bag. It is a basic bag. And we got a fortune cookie that says, "Are you already a Patreon for the Gamers the series?" No. So we'll throw it in there. And honestly, glowstone torches, we're probably not going to be using those. There's better ways to do that than glowstone torches. So I'm just going to throw them back in the system. We don't want that. Alright, so next up, the fuel loader over here. This is all oxygen. Yeah. Cryo sleep. Okay, so for the actual fuel loader. Now the fuel loader is something... Well, I guess we only need one of them. Honestly, I don't plan on making any return trips from space back to Earth. because whenever we reach each planet and the space station stuff, of course it gives us our rocket. I'm probably just going to set up the teleporter right then and there. I already have a frequency set here. We won't really need to worry too much about return trip stuff. But the fuel loader requires compressed copper, reactor glass, basic fluid tanks. None of this stuff is even remotely expensive. Alright, let's go ahead and teach our system how to make the copper, though. We'll go ahead and get a couple copper ingots, and I'll just pop over there. It's really the same as steel, so I'm going to go set this up real quick. And there we go. That's how you make compressed copper. Like, honestly, I'm finding that if you automate everything as you go, this pack's really not that bad. It's not that difficult. Like I say, it's not that bad, because I love this pack. It's like, hands down, still my favorite pack. I'm absolutely having a blast on it. So the fuel loader, now we need basic fluid tanks. These are very, very simple. Okay, we are going to need these reactor glass. This is the mechanism reactor glass, which takes reactor frame and glass, and the reactor frame is steel casing and atomic alloy. So a little bit more expensive. I'm waiting on the steel casings at the moment. Okay, there's the steel casings. Then we can get our reactor frames. There's that. And then reactor glass. Alright, and then the last thing that we're going to need is the factory machine block. I haven't automated these, so I'm going to automate those. It takes plastic sheets, electrical steel, and machine frames. So we'll just put it in this one. Satellite number 5. And we're just going to put in, let's see, I don't think electrical steel is something that's kept stocked here, is it? No. Okay, so we're going to say if you input 5 electrical steel, a basic machine frame, 3 plastic sheets, then it's going to make a factory machine block. I am planning on upgrading our laser system so that we have more lasers. It's going to have to be put in a separate area, though. And I'm debating on maybe doing some of our auto crafting in space, possibly. Possibly the lasers. That's one in particular. Because I'd like to have space more than just Galacticraft. I want it to actually feel like extensions of our base. And, you know, places that we've reached and things like that. So, I don't know. Alright, so reactor glass, basic fluid tanks. I'm still waiting. Am I still waiting on compressed copper? Or did I send it? Okay, well, we've got everything now to create the fuel loader. We'll go ahead and we won't have to manually put that in, I guess. There we go. Fuel loader. And, of course, we're going to need this. We don't need this right this second, but we are going to need it once we actually get our spaceship and we need to put fuel in it and all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and take this reward. It's a good bag. Alchemical coins. Okay. Honestly, I feel like we've done like all the hard stuff now. I mean, everything's automated. So, let's see. Okay, we've got fuel in this tank now. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a bucket of that. I'm gonna pull this out. I'll take that. Okay. Now this fuel. This is fuel right here. It does go in here. Okay. So we've already got fuel from our cows. So I actually don't even need the refinery at all anyway. So that works. Okay, so next up, launch pad. The rocket launch pad is needed to launch your spaceship out of the atmosphere in Galacticraft. The rocket launch pad must be placed in a 3x3 square to create a functional launch pad. Okay. So we're going to need 9 of the... Oh, it's 1 craft. Alright, we just need block of iron and compressed iron. Could it be easier? I do not know. I do not know if it could be easier than this. Alright. Especially having fuel, just... We got a cow for it. Makes me think of all the... you know, there's those... there's an app for that, commercials. And that's what it makes me think of. It's like every time we find a new fuel, it's like, oh, there's a cow for that. Alright, so if we put 2 iron into satellite number 14, and we'll let that run real quick, and we'll get compressed iron automated. And compressed iron. Okay, so there's our 3 compressed iron and our 3 blocks of iron. Alright. And we'll go ahead and just lay this out. Pow. And there's our rocket launch pad. I'm just going to put this in here for right now. I've got to set up an area for Galacticraft. I figure next episode, at the start of next episode, we'll set everything up and do a final checklist, make sure we've got everything we want to go into space and all that stuff, and then we will blast off. We may actually, I don't know. It's been a while automating stuff, so we may have to do a couple quests, make a couple things next episode. I don't know. But I mean, we're kind of rolling through this stuff pretty quick at this point. Next up is our oxygen gear. We're going to need heavy oxygen tanks. Okay. These require 10 canisters, compressed steel, and red wool. We're going to need 2 of those. 10 canisters and compressed steel. Okay. Now the 10 canisters, those are crafted with just compressed tin. Okay. So for that, let me get... I'm going to go ahead and set up a quick recipe here for compressed tin. Here soon we're going to have all the different compressed stuff done. And that's going to make life a lot easier too, because we won't have to automate any more of this stuff. So we'll say that if you take 210 on satellite 14, that will get you 1 compressed tin. And then I'll quickly automate the 10 canisters as well, so that it knows how to craft those. Honestly, I probably won't worry about automating the actual oxygen tanks at this point. Once we do the AE auto crafting, I'm going to do a lot more recipes with that, just because it's easier to set it up with AE2 than with logistics pipes, because I have to worry about like where everything goes and make sure it doesn't step on any toes and want to craft other things and all that. It's just wow. I love logistics pipes, but I think the auto crafting could be really refined. Okay, for the oxygen helmet, we're going to need an iron helmet. Oh, you know what? That's going to be chain leather. Okay, I can actually just craft that pretty easily. There's that. There's our oxygen mask. Okay, so that part's done. Compressed tin. Let me go set up a recipe real quick for 10 canisters. Like that. It's going to get you a 10 canister. And we'll go ahead and craft one. And I'm actually going to need 6 of these, so let's go ahead and order 5 more of them. Oh, man. I didn't craft the oxygen mask. I absolutely hate that this stuff has to be crafted in the crafting table, because I just forget about it, you know. Now that counted the oxygen mask. Alright, the oxygen gear, we're going to need the oxygen concentrator. Okay, this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. This takes 4 compressed steel. I'm also going to need some compressed bronze. Luckily, I've got plenty of that stuff. Let me go ahead and get the 4 compressed steel that we're going to need. We're also going to need a pressure tube. And then, let me get some bronze. We're going to need 2 of those. And then, I believe it was electrotine, right? Like 2 of those. So we'll say if you take 2 bronze, you send it to satellite number 14. Let me pull that 10 out for just a minute so that this can craft. Long term, I don't know, I might want to set up one of those for each, because if I craft like multiple plates or multiple compressed things, it's going to act up, I think. I know AE could handle it, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. So the oxygen concentrator. This is crafted just like that. I don't know if I want to automate that. What all do we use that for? There's one of those. Oxygen gear, oxygen collector, oxygen compressor, airlock front. Yeah, we're going to be automating those. Okay. Let me, really quickly, I'm going to teach it how to make that. So we'll say crafting module. If you take 2 electrotine, compressed bronze, pressure tube, 4 steel. So there is the oxygen concentrator. And then for the actual oxygen gear, we're going to need oxygen pipes, which are just glass panes. Let me go ahead and get... We'll just automate these as well. They're pretty easy. If you just take 6 glass panes, then you're going to get 6 oxygen pipes. And so we'll go ahead and get our oxygen gear. There's that. And then I think we have everything we need for the canisters. I know it's crafting the final 10 canister right now. So we're going to need 6 compressed steel and 6 red wool. I don't think... Let me get that. And a bit of wool here. I can't remember. Can wool be wrapped around? Yeah, okay. It can, in fact. And there's our last 10 canister. And then I'm going to need the steel. So there's that. And now we can get our heavy oxygen tanks. There's that. And then lastly, the frequency module. Compressed iron, compressed aluminum. So we'll have to teach you how to make that. Basic wafer, redstone repeater. All that stuff's very, very easy. Okay, so let's just teach you really, really quickly how to get the aluminum. So now we can get our frequency module. There's that. And that quest is completed. So we get a quarter of a heart, a chance cube, and a reward bag. Okay, I've got space. And we got a transfer node for liquids. Now let's go ahead and throw this stuff on. So our oxygen mask goes here. Our heavy oxygen tanks go on our back. Our oxygen gear. And then our frequency module goes there. Okay. So we are set. I'm going to go ahead and throw this oxygen mask. I want to say that it's used to craft something. It's not? Okay. There was a pack I played that it did, I think, and that's why I'm thinking it was used to craft something. Okay, these quests here are... Hey, that one we've already finished. These quests right here are for once we actually hit the moon, because it's like cheese and stuff like that. I guess we'll go ahead and start on this side then. I don't know if we're going to get all this done today. For this, we need compressed aluminum. We're also going to need these oxygen vents, which take compressed tin and steel. Alright, let me go ahead. I mean, this stuff is actually not... We have everything automated, so it's just a matter of ordering these things. It is going to have to make a bunch of compressed tin, so... and while we're waiting on that, let's see. They're going to want next the oxygen storage module. That takes heavy oxygen tanks, compressed steel. Then they want us to make the oxygen collector and compressor. This stuff is all oxygen concentrator, compressed aluminum, vent, tin canister. Oxygen fan is just the compressed iron gear and basic wafer with bronze. The compressor is pretty much the same stuff, oxygen concentrator. Oxygen sealer is compressed iron, oxygen vent, factory machine block. Okay, that's all really, really easy stuff that we have automated. Dash, we're not going to be able to get into that. That's once we get to Mars, we'll get into that and the cryo sleep and stuff like that. So, I think most of this stuff, we're also going to need the NASA workbench. That takes a pneumatic wrench. I might just use the one I have, honestly. And we can use any machine frame. Yeah, we're going to use basic. And electrotane, compressed titanium. We are going to have to teach the system how to make that compressed titanium. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Actually, is this stuff done, perhaps? Okay, but there's our oxygen detector. So we got that done. We'll go ahead and turn this quest in. Take that reward bag. Oh, thanks, Mr. Crayfish. I always love when I get all that Mr. Crayfish stuff. Just the best. Okay, one right there. Okay, so the next thing, let's see, the O2 storage. We're going to need the heavy oxygen tanks. Let me go ahead and get it crafting. Actually, I'll wait to do that. That's not a problem. I'll do that off camera. Let's see, the Tier 1 rocket, this quest right here. Yeah, basically they just want us to craft a Tier 1 rocket. Nose cones is a bunch of heavy-duty plates. We've got rocket fins, heavy-duty plates. Tier 1 rocket engine, all that stuff is easy. Okay, so the heavy-duty plates, I do want to automate those today with you guys. And then most of this other stuff, I'm going to probably do off camera, honestly, just so that next episode we can, I mean, I'll wait to put the rocket together and stuff, you know, and all that, but the rest of this oxygen gear, I feel like it's boring for you guys to watch me craft all this, so, but I do want to get the heavy duty plates automated because those are going to be kind of a big chunk of what we're working on. So the heavy duty plates, those require bronze, aluminum, and steel. Alright, so let me get 2 of each of those. Just, I know the episodes are running close to wrapping up point. Alright, let's go ahead and throw a crafting module in there. And we're going to say that satellite number 14, you're going to give it compressed steel, compressed bronze, compressed aluminum. Oh, these actually have to be in the specified order, don't they? Ugh. Okay, I have an idea. Here's what we're going to do. Let's get a supplier module, I went ahead and crafted an extra electric compressor. I think our heavy-duty plates, the tier 2 is just, okay, that's just heavy-duty plate and compressed meteoric iron. Meteoric iron's not a problem. The main thing is those heavy-duty plates are going to be a pain, honestly. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a supplier module. Let's get, let me find it here. This drives me insane. And then we're going to get a chassis. I'm going to go ahead and just get a tier 5. Technically, we could get by with a tier 4. It wouldn't be a problem, but I'm just going to go ahead and take a tier 5. And I've got some basic unrouted. Okay, we're good. So what we're going to do is let's pop over here. And honestly, I don't even think we're going to need the hopper for this. The worst thing is going to be putting the power in. So we'll just put our compressor right here. We're going to rotate it, I guess. Actually, I guess the power can come into the back. That would be fine. Because I'm only going to need, I think, one slot for this. So we'll just plug the power in right there. And from the side here, we're going to put our chassis pipe right there. And we're going to say active supplier module. And I want you to, we'll say partial. And I'm going to want you to keep, we're going to say like, I don't know, 80 compressed steel. Okay. So that's over a stack, right? And then we'll do the same for bronze. And I know it's going to be going crazy crafting all this stuff. I may actually have to wait on this till all this stuff gets crafted, because it may start trying to push the bronze in and mess up the steel. Let me see. No, it's doing it intelligently. Awesome. So that's going to start crafting, and then I'm also going to want, and the compressed aluminum, we're going to say, give me 64 stacks. Exactly. We want 64 compressed aluminum. Okay, so this stuff's going to start feeding in. Now, the actual recipe for the heavy-duty plate was steel, aluminum, bronze. So we're going to put our steel just like that. Okay. And we're going to wait for this stuff. It's going to take a little while to get all this stuff crafted. So I'll be back once that stuff's crafted and we'll get this stuff finalized. I am going to go ahead and pull out this recipe here for the heavy-duty plates. I'll pull that out. I'm going to put it into this one. And we don't need a satellite for this or anything. And I'm going to say, basically, if you want heavy-duty plates, just send me a compressed aluminum. And now we just have to wait for all this stuff to get crafted. So I'll be back in just a bit, once the steel and the bronze and the aluminum gets crafted. And then we'll finalize all of this, okay? Okay, so the thresholds are filled. Bronze is a little bit behind. I think it's just derping for a second. But it's got a stack of each of these in here. It's got some extras down here. So now if we were to order some heavy-duty plates, let's order 10 of these. And we should see it ship a bunch of aluminum over here. There it comes. And it's going to start crafting that heavy-duty, or that compressed aluminum, right? So we're going to see how this works, because the only concern I have is that it might take some off of this and then mess up, basically. I may actually have to set the bronze up a little bit. I don't know. So there's 2 heavy-duty plates. Yeah, see, it dropped 2 aluminum into that. So it looks like that only made 8. Okay. We'll give it just a second and see if maybe... Okay, it does have aluminum in here. I guess it detected that... Because what I was thinking is it should, when it goes down, it should go ahead and request some and say, okay, you're below that, and send the additional aluminum over. Is what I'm thinking. For some reason, the bronze is not happening, though. And I don't know, I don't know why that is. It should have plenty of thermal foundation bronze in the system. Let me check. Yeah, it's got plenty. It's just not actively requesting it correctly. I'm going to set that up to almost 2 stacks that it's supposed to keep in stock on bronze. Now it's starting to get bronze because it's like, hey, there's not enough in here. So for some reason, bronze just needs more, I guess, within the threshold. Steel is intelligent. Aluminum's intelligent. Bronze doesn't know what's going on. But I still run into the issue of that craft only having made 8 heavy-duty plates. Let me see. What all am I going to need heavy-duty plates for? Tier 1 boosters, electric arc furnaces, Tier 1 rocket engines, nose cones, rocket fins. I'm also going to use it for making spaceships and buggies and more buggies, all kinds of buggies. As well as making the heavy-duty plate Tier 2s, which make the Tier 3s, which make the Tier 4, and so on. Okay, so I am going to need heavy-duty plates. So, I'll tell you what I might do. What I think I'm going to do is we're just going to say instead, keep 127 of everything in here. Okay, so it's crafting a bunch of heavy-duty plates right now. And so then what we're going to do is we're just going to set up a drawer. Is how I'm going to solve it. And we will do, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me get a couple modules here, really quick. I know the episode's running long. We're just about done. And do I want to store these in a chest? Yeah, no, we're going to do a drawer for this, okay? So we'll just get a storage drawer. And I know it's kind of a cop-out method, but honestly, I don't mind having stockpiled. I mean, bronze, we're automatically creating. Steel, we're automatically creating. Aluminum, we're automatically creating. Why not have a bunch of heavy-duty plates on demand when we need them? We've got them, kind of the thing. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to pull out that supplier module. I'm going to grab all this stuff out of here. And I'm going to move this. So, what we're going to do, we're going to set this up over in this system. Okay? And we're going to say that our compressor is going to go right here. And we'll go ahead and rotate that because I am going to want to be able to plug into the power. There's the power line. And we'll just put power on there. And that, I mean, I know methods to do it with Steve's factory manager and stuff, but it's, you know, it's not in this pack. So I've kind of just got to go with it. Whatever way I can manage, right? So then I want to get just some item conduits. We'll get 2 of those. That's going to be plenty. And what I want to do is I just want to set up a drawer right here. And this drawer is going to have heavy-duty plates in it. So there's that. And then we'll just run some item conduits. No, not energy conduits. Item conduits along the... Oops. All kinds of mistakes today. We'll say extract, insert. I'm also going to have to plug this up with a pipe. I guess we're going to do it across the top. This, I can easily cover this stuff, so that's fine. And we're going to say logistics chassis. We're going to put that supplier module that we made. It keeps all that stuff in stock. And we'll just do an unrouted transport pipe. Okay, so that's going to start running. It's going to be producing those materials for us. Hopefully it keeps up. I may end up having to do additional machines. I don't know. But I mean, eventually, is that not going to pull out, really? Okay, if I maybe set the compressor instead, like right here, for example, and the power... we ran through here. And then I set a drawer like right here that had the heavy-duty plates. Okay, I just switched over. I was making aluminum plates. I got it crafting steel. Honestly, I may end up setting separate compressors up to just keep steel, like a drawer of steel, drawer of aluminum, drawer of bronze on hand. It would honestly make life a lot easier, right? Honestly, I could craft on demand if I did that, now that I think about it, because I wouldn't have to wait on the compressor. It would already be there. Okay, so now if it made a heavy-duty plate, would this work? Because I wouldn't mind having drawers filled with all the plates. Okay, it is pulling those out and putting it into the drawer. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, honestly, is I'm going to make a few more of these compressors. And instead of having this stuff crafted on demand... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just build out a Galacticraft dedicated room. Okay, like a small little section upstairs. And we'll have compressors for each plate that just keep a drawer filled. No storage upgrades, no void, none of that. But just a drawer with 32 stacks of each plate. And I think that would work out the best. Now, I could craft, I mean, if you wanted to auto-craft the heavy-duty plates on demand, you could do that, like I showed you before when we were messing with it. If you just had the stuff on hand, if you had like a drawer of steel plates and a drawer of aluminum plates, a drawer of bronze plates, and have it set up pretty much the same way I showed you last time, and then just the aluminum or whatever is not there, request however many, and it's just going to send it and put it into that slot. But, I mean, you still, I think if you order like 64, it would probably mess up, or over 64, it might mess up or something like that. But, because the Galacticraft stuff is, honestly, it's a pain to mess with. So I think what we're going to do is do kind of like what I have there, but do it for each plate and just have that stuff auto-crafted and already crafted. So I don't have to wait on it. It's kind of a pain waiting on it, and honestly, with the amount of resources that we have automatically coming in within this pack, we might as well. I mean, stuff like that we're going to be using, components like that, just keep a drawer filled, right? So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to get the Galacticraft room built, make a few more compressors and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I think next episode when we start, we're going to quickly put together the NASA workbench, quickly throw together the ship. I may go ahead and prep all the pieces for it, just so that we've got them, because I mean, it's just a combination of heavy-duty plates, some steel, some basic stuff. May go ahead and prep all those. We'll throw together the rocket. We'll go through a final checklist, make sure we've got everything that we need. And then we'll probably quickly go over the mechanism teleporter. We are going to quickly set up a frequency and stuff and set up our initial teleporter. And then I think we'll probably head on into space and make a space station and start working on that. And then we might even get to the moon. I don't know, because I don't know how much time I want to spend on the space station, because it's mainly going to be moving some machines up there and stuff like that and just kind of building. But we will go over that briefly. I don't know. We might even look into the spin thrusters next episode, and I'll show you guys those and a couple things like that. But yeah. So anyways, I think that's it for this episode. I feel like we got a lot accomplished. I mean, it's a lot of automation out of the way. And a couple different variations that you can use, I guess, for making the heavy-duty plates. Like I said, I think I'm just going to keep a drawer filled. I think is what I'm going to do. So, anyways, yeah, I'm really excited for next episode, because getting into space is going to be awesome. It's going to be major. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And until next time, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys then.